Hello, and this is the research project for the research unit from rejection to acceptance. And we are 7th grade language arts teachers. And this is by Nicholas Park and Eleni Vrettos.
To know our learners a little bit, my class has much more diversity, as you will see in comparison to Mr. Park's class, which there is way less diversity.
Some of our prior knowledge, our students are going to be, this is going to be their second in a series of 4 research projects. They have 1 each quarter. Their prior knowledge coming in, they'll know about formal outline and paper organization, but they'll have limited ability when it comes to in-text citations. So that's why we'll be using Noodle tools to help us out. And then they will also have prior knowledge from the anchor theme for knowledge about rejection and acceptance. Also, when it comes to the middle school concept, middle school is formed around the teaming model. So that allows for something known as counterpart teaching as well as co-teaching of those topics. So as we will have other colleagues on our team that will be teaching at the same time, we'll be able to switch classes and do different things that will help out with this project.
For Common Core standards, students are going to be assessed on reading, writing, speaking, and listening. These standards are focused on informational text and research. And finally, the standards will help students understand the research process and create an authentic product. To show you a little bit about our project process, students are beginning their research, they're outlining, and creating a script, and finally the final production will be that video.
For our learning style that we chose project-based learning because it helps gain knowledge and skills, and it will also help our students to investigate and respond to a complex question. So let's talk about the day-to-day activities. First off, when it comes to day 1, our objective is that we want our students to understand this idea of rejection and acceptance through different scenarios, learning about some social norms. So after discussing the unit themes of acceptance and rejection, they're going to learn about something known as social norms so they can identify how and why a historical figure might have been rejected. It will help build the foundation for our project-based learning because our project is based around the rejection and acceptance into society. The students themselves will be using a simulation activity to understand social norms. So some examples of social norms include stealing a pack of gum from a classmate. It's a bad thing. It's a moray, so it's kind of a bad moral thing, but not necessarily the worst. Opening a gift before you open a card is known as a folkway. It's a bad thing, sort of. Some people might be offended, but you're not going to hurt anyone. And within project-based learning, this fits under key knowledge, understanding, and success skills.
For day 2, the student will be able to research about that specific person in print and online sources. They need at least 3 sources. Here we will provide an introduction to the project. Students will be researching basic knowledge using this Instagram site. They'll be finding out information on how that person was once rejected, and the guiding questions that they will be looking for within their research be how this person was rejected and how they faced this rejection. To differentiate, for our lower level students, we want to provide them with picture books. Below is Eleanor Roosevelt picture book of how she was rejected at a young age due to her looks, her family, etc. Students are using Instagram. This image demonstrates an Instagram concept map. This helps create a baseline of research information, and it helps students organize their research within a concept map by connecting multiple media formats. For project-based learning, this follows along. Students are answering and looking for how this historical figure was accepted or rejected in society.
For day 3, our objective is that we're going to be classifying this research within graphic organizers. So we'll be using this Instagram program for research in our libraries, and the students are going to be using guided note-taking to gather this information. They will also be using subject-based encyclopedias, which is different from a regular encyclopedia that just has general information. It's a little bit more subject-specific. They will also be able to create their own Instagram graphic organizer that will help create a concept map for their information. And finally, they'll be using Noodle Tools, which is a subscription service that will help them collect and gather their sources for citations later on. Here's an example of a student handout for guided note-taking that they can use to assist with the creation of their Instagram concept map. And then here's an example of what can actually be created in the Instagram. Notice it's a concept map, it has at least 5 branches, and it's very fluid with multiple medias. This falls into sustained inquiry for project-based learning because students are researching about their historical figure.
For day 4, the students will continue their research and working on their outline. Students will be using the Instadoc, continuing the research within the library. They'll be collaborating with others who share this topic, so now they will have their partner with the same topic. And then to check on this, students will be using Go Formative as an exit slip. And finally, they'll be relating how they felt if they were this figure. So technology used here is formative to share what they've learned. The question is, please share what you have learned so far about your historical figure. This way we can check to see students' understanding thus far. Also, another way to check students to see if they are connecting to real life, they'll be posting on Google Classroom discussion board on how they would feel if they were their figure. This demonstrates authenticity because students are making the connection between their topic and their in real life.
For day 5, the students are going to be working, their objective is to create a formal outline. So they'll be working on the outline, and the formal outline itself is a framework for their script, which is something coming later on for their video. But they need that prior knowledge, or they have that prior knowledge with formal outlines. But it's similar to the guided note-taking. But what they're trying to do is converting this informational text into an organized narrative format. The differentiation that can occur during this time is just different examples of outline graphic organizers, especially for those lower level students.
Day 6, students will be devising their formal outline using Instagram, but now they're collaborating with their research partner a little bit more. The students will be discussing their research with their partner. They'll be comparing the information collected on their Instagram. They have to then synthesize this information to create that collaborative Instagram concept map. And here is where we will introduce the final presentation of the video green screen. Differentiation, our higher level students, they will be pairing their topic with a rival character or character that either helped lead to the acceptance and they must include this in their video presentation. Here's an example. The historical figure could have been Galileo Galilei. His rival character is Cesare Cremonini. Video green screen. Students will be given a handout that they can follow with helpful links to understand the software, and this image demonstrates just one of many things that they'll be doing on WeVideo.
On day 7, students are going to be creating their script for the narrative video itself. The script is going to set the scene for their video, and the scene itself is going to include rejection or acceptance of that historical figure. This is their chance that they're going to have the freedom to script their videos in any format, but they need to present the information video using that WeVideo application. One thing this leads to for project-based learning is giving student voice and choice on the project. Also for day 8, the students are going to be able to critique their scripts through peer revision, peer editing. So students will be asked to identify their strengths and weaknesses in the writing process, and that will lead to the peer editing groups. And this is a fully differentiated classroom activity that students will be doing. And here's how the differentiation looks like. Students are split into their groups based on their peer editing strengths. So different groups for spelling, grammar, vocab enhancement, meeting project criteria. And what this does is it gives more valuable feedback to those students based on the given scripts. This Google Classroom will be used for commenting, and we'll use it as an example of critique and revision for project-based learning.
Day 9, where students will be creating an assessment for the viewing of other students based on those questions that were at the beginning of the unit. They'll be completing a video production, and students are going to be utilizing the library to record their video production. They'll be advised not to wear green or blue for color keying with the green screen. And the color keying option on Weave Video will be used to create this green screen. And they'll be working with their partner to make this production. So the way the technology setup will kind of work, there will be a green screen set up in the library. There'll be already one Chromebook out, and the students will be utilizing the software, including this color keying for the green screen. This will be a public product because students will be making this available to other students in all classes and with parents, and this will also be shared as an art walkthrough eventually. So this is definitely part of that problem-based learning, that public product finished. And for day 10, the students will be evaluating other students' published videos via Edpuzzle. For Edpuzzle presentations, these presentations will be uploaded to Edpuzzle, and the students will be watching the videos, pausing and reflecting, and answering the setup questions created by their partners. They will, in the end, submit a reflection on the project process, covering and comparing how this process was in the first part of their research unit, which was at the beginning of the year, and they'll be working with their partner for that final product. Edpuzzle, the way it kind of works, it allows for students to view a variety of media, and students can answer quizzes based on the video content. The quizzes provide feedback for the students, and it helps us check their understanding. This follows along reflection piece with problem-based learning.
And then finally, when it comes to our SAMR application, we kind of felt that within there's about 55% of our SAMR model is augmentation, and 45% is modification. Some of the modifications, originally this entire unit and this entire project itself was based around writing a historical narrative paper or a historical narrative story. And it's completely modified into a video, which allows for all different kinds of things to come into the video, such as audio, voice, things like that. As well as the research process itself is augmented by those active concept maps to improve their understanding by using Instagram. And finally, feedback is modified to generate both student and teacher feedback on those public products for the peer edit process. Also, for the summative evaluation, one of the resources we would use is something known as Doctopus and Rubric, and it works together. We would be grading the student scripts by using Doctopus and Rubric because it allows for the teacher to import the student work from Google Classroom and assign a rubric into the work. And the rubric allows for commenting in student work and 3 frames on one screen. And after completion, students would receive copies of all of those things.
To evaluate the effectiveness of the unit design, the students will complete a Google Forms survey. They'll be providing some feedback on their research process compared to their previous research, and then their previous research would also be on the lower end of SAMR.
And here are a list of references. And thank you for listening.